Drone footage shows Wagner's attacking Ukrainian military prisoners. As the war in Ukraine enters its 71st day, a video recorded by a surveillance drone has now emerged showing the destruction of the Ukrainian city of Bobasna, an example of the impact of the conflict on the eastern regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. The 22-minute video was first aired by a pro-Russian Telegram channel. It is available on YouTube and is shared by media such as the British newspaper Telegraph and the American television network CNN. Identifies Russian forces as a group. Wagner, the mercenary organization affiliated with the Kremlin, is sometimes referred to as Putin's private army. It is not clear when the video was shot, but CNN confirms that it is geolocated. Confirmed the authenticity of the video. The recording begins with an artillery attack near a moat. You can see a Ukrainian soldier fleeing and taking refuge in a house, where he is followed by 4 soldiers. You see what Russian soldiers look like. The Telegraph recognizes that Wagner belongs to the group. Citing a pro-Russian blogger who posted the video, enters the trench, from 1.41 minutes of video, and approaches one of the houses. There the Ukrainians entered. 2 grenades are fired from the shelter, from 5:30 p.m. on video, followed by a Russian soldier who responds by firing at least 4. The new program, from 7.40 minutes, shows below what they are in. At least 6 Ukrainian soldiers were lying on their stomachs on the ground. Then he stands up with his head in his hands. According to Defender, attacks and bombings have intensified in the Luhansk separatist area, one of the areas most affected by the Bobasna conflict and heavy fighting in recent days. This Wednesday, Regional Mayor Seri Haida warned arranging evacuations is impossible. On April 30th, the head of the local military-civilian administration revealed in a telegram that Russian troops had hit an evacuation bus. The city of Ukraine has been under constant siege.
Five chilling steps Mad Vlad would have to take to launch a nuke that could kill millions within just 10 minutes. 5 chilling steps Mad Vlad would have to take to launch a nuke that could kill millions within just 10 minutes. Vladimir Putin does the unthinkable and decides to unleash the first nuclear weapon used in a war in nearly 80 years. What happens next? Russia has been wildly swinging its nuclear saber as it continues to face disastrous defeats across the front line in Ukraine. And it's feared that if Vlad finds himself boxed into a corner, he could resort to using nuclear weapons. Nukes have not been used in a war since the US dropped 2 bombs on Japan to end World War II. Putin has repeatedly raised the specter of using the weapons, and it's feared he could potentially be lining up a test in the Black Sea. Moscow has red lines in its doctrine about when to use nukes, but they are softer than those in the West. The use of such a weapon has to be signed off by Mad Vlad himself before the orders are passed down the chain of command. It has been claimed that the order going from the top to launch commanders could take as little as 10 minutes, and a massive barrage of nukes could kill millions of people. But how would we get from Putin deciding to use the device to Russian forces actually exploding a nuclear weapon? Putin is the one who sets the creaking wheels of the Russian state in motion to begin a nuclear attack. And a 2020 executive order reveals the circumstances in which Moscow details would use nukes as a means to deterrence. However, deterrence is defined as a defensive position even though it is attacking an enemy which it considers a threat to Russia. The Russian Federation considers nuclear weapons exclusively as a means of deterrence, the use being an extreme and compelled measure. and takes all necessary efforts to reduce nuclear threat and prevent aggravation of interstate relations that could trigger military conflicts, including nuclear ones, the document reads. Vlad will have to order the use of nukes as defined within these relatively vague circumstances. These are detailed in 6 wide-ranging points ranging from deployment of missile systems to military buildup. Kremlin documents detail that overall direction of state policy in the area of nuclear deterrence is carried out by the President of the Russian Federation. Once Vlad has made up his mind, he will then reach for a nuclear briefcase known as the Cheket. It is understood there are 3 of the cases all connected to a communications network known as Kavkaz. The first is with Vlad at all times, and 2 others are with high-ranking members of Russian Federation. Putin is often seen being followed by an aide carrying the case, which has a personalized key code and is kept under 24/7 supervision by an armed guard. The briefcase, similar to the U.S. nuclear football, was developed in the early 1980s and was shown to the world for first time in 2019, with its contents being viewed up close on TV. Inside the case is a white not red button and slots for a flash card, which will have to inserted by Putin to begin the next stage of the attack. Unlike common wisdom, though, Putin slammed his fist on the button will not launch his nukes. There are another few stages first in the war machine of Russia. Vlad's order from the Cheket is transmitted to the General Staff, which is currently headed up by General Valery Gerasimov. The General Staff oversees the military, Navy, Air Force, and missile units of Putin's army and is based in Moscow. It is understood that Putin's men will then follow his orders and begin preparation for a nuclear strike.